Hello everyone, this is Greyshot17, and today I am joined by 151.
Hello there.
And we're also joined by Delta, who is a big Halo fan. You can't see his face, but he's here.
General Kenobi!
Anyway, so we are all Halo fans. I hope that is explained through the books and everything I have behind me, the Halo statue I have behind me. I have a Master Chief helmet right over here. Like, my brother has a whole bunch of statues in his where he works. But
yeah.
And also Delta down below has read most of the books and seen all
pretty much all
played.
of them.
Yeah, we've all played all the games. We all know the media, so we are deep Halo fans. We know our lore. We know our shit.
Yep,
I would say.
And I did some research too before this.
Yes,
to double check my opinions.
To the point where
he checked the Pornhub version, guys. He covered all his bases.
Yes, to the point where the insurrectionist planet that they mentioned in this TV show, I was like, I know that name, and it's in the Cole Protocol, which is the book I have right back here. So, again, I know my shit. That being said, 151 just finished watching it, and we're only doing episode 1. Now, 151, tell us, because me and Delta have been talking for like 5 minutes, tell us your thoughts on it.
I thought it was good. I did not think I was going to like this. I saw the trailers, and I was like, eh. Like, I was kind of, like, soft on it. But the first half of this, I actually really enjoyed. The latter half, not so much. But I give it, I'm going to give it a little bit of a pushback because it's the first episode. They rushed a lot in this episode. And I felt like the latter half really suffered for that by, like, pushing so many different things. But by the end, I did come out more positive than I was negative. If I was going to say, like, the first 20 minutes of this is probably, like, a 9 out of 10 for me. I actually really enjoyed it. I was, like, making comments like, oh, yeah, and the elites are going to shoot them. And, you know, there is blood. There is gore. There was far more of that than I expected. So I give it that. I was pleasantly surprised in some areas, disappointed in others. But there was a lot of pleasant surprises, more so than I ever thought was going to actually happen.
Okay. There are things in this that, again, as a dedicated Halo fan, did piss me off. But it's also
rightfully should.
Yes. But I will 100% say, if to people who are watching this who are unfamiliar, I think you won't know what it is, or you won't sniff it out yet. I already have signs of, oh god, where's this going? This is not good sort of vibes. You are right, the first half is stronger than the second half. And I don't necessarily just mean by a action perspective, I mean as a storytelling perspective. That being said, there are some things about the Covenant I actually think the show could improve on, such as the scene with the Prophet. I will say that. I think that could make Halo better by explaining some foresight that the Prophets would have in this environment. But the second half has started chipping away at my resilience. Also, the Paramount app didn't want to work on my desktop. It kept dropping down to 240p.
It kept screwing up. Like, it kept going between like 480 and 1080. It was so bad.
And you can't set it. There's no download option. Paramount
I
Plus
had to
fixes
cast
shit.
it on off my phone app to my TV to get it to work.
Yeah. I don't. So I haven't. I had to watch it on my phone because I was getting sick and tired of it. I'm like, I know sometimes Funimation has issues with the anime and stuff like that, and by God, the recent Attack on Titan episode is fantastic, so I want to watch that in its full glory. But this just drove me batty, and that's not a great way to start this show when you're constantly trying to refresh and figure out what's wrong with the resolution, because it looks like shit. Delta, what is your thoughts on it?
From a pure sci-fi perspective, I enjoyed it, but as a Halo fan, I was disappointed.
Okay. I think my brother, what would you give this first episode? Because I think if what we do this consistently, we're going to do the first episode, the 5th episode, because it'll deal with 4 episodes, the 9th episode, because it'll do with the last 4 with a season wrap-up.
See, I'm looking this up. This is supposed to be, what, 8-episode season?
9.
9, okay.
Yes.
I guess, okay. So based on this, I would say it had a solid but rocky start. Like, if you're rating just the first part of this, I would say probably like I really enjoyed that first part. I'd say it was like an 8 out of 10. But by the end, I was a bit annoyed, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take it back. I'd say it's a solid 7 so far.
Yeah.
Like, there are issues, no doubts, with this show.
Yes.
Like, what happens in episode 1 should have happened probably in the mid-season.
Or the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would have been far smarter. But what I will say is I'm going to wait to see how things progress. And yeah, I as of right now, as a Halo fan, it's definitely a spin on Halo. Like, this is, if you're going for pure like storytelling from the Halo games, you're not going to get it here. It's definitely its own spin. But what I will say is I'm interested. I liked what I saw. 7 out of 10.
I'm going to go a little lower. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 because there's some things that really freaking irked me. There are a lot of Easter eggs and a lot of stuff that they do throw in that as a Halo nut I liked. There are other things that drove me nuts because it's like
the Commander Shepard reference. Or
I heard that. Yeah,
that was a reference, right? They mentioned an alien from the. Okay. I'm just verifying.
Yep. Delta, what's your score before we go into spoilers?
5.5 out of 10.
Yeah,
I think. I don't know. It's hard because, like, I am a stickler for really, really good sci-fi television. Like like Battlestar Galactica is one of my favorite things of all time. Expanse comes in probably second or third for me. I think Battlestar Galactica is just so darn good, especially for the time it was made.
Yeah.
I just can't put this, like, if those two are in the top 5, I can't put this in the top 5.
There's no way. Yeah.
No. No way. Like, again, I want to stress this. I don't think it's a good sci-fi. I should stress this. I think the UNSC part of the show is by far the weakest element.
Which,
Oh, and I've got some criticisms you hear from me about that.
And that's like the hard sci-fi military element. They were like, I don't know. Maybe they were scared to go into like military future. I don't know. But it was,
which is weird by the stuff they bring up in the UNSC. And also the instructions for like propaganda purposes. But again, we'll get into that. But
we'll get into that. But yeah,
let's jump into spoilers. Let's unravel this.
Yeah, so those that don't want spoilers, leave, come back.
Yeah,
but we've already given some.
I am so cautiously optimistic about. I'm so optimistic, but I see this slowly, like the flames coming out of the airplane, and I'm like, I don't know if we can make it. I'm like, Sully, I don't know if we can land at the airport. I think we're going to have to go for the water landing.
Okay, so why don't we all, let's take it from the top, okay? Let's go from the first 20 minutes, right?
Okay. My only gripe for that opening 20 minutes is I feel like the girl needed like one more scene of character development because she just kind of shows up. I do like how all the other insurrectionist characters are in a bar and you kind of get a sense of what they are, who they are, and also kind of the idea of the insurrection.
Yep.
Though it is set in 2552, so as a Halo fan, I'm like, wait, if we're dealing with insurrection in an outer colony, this would have to be in the 25 through like 2537 or 42.
Yeah, the timeline's way off.
Yeah. The Covenant also they stressed that like they gave a good job report on like killing 20 elites.
Yeah,
and the UNSC slaughters thousands of Covenant. Tens of thousands, millions?
Unless this is still at a time where the Covenant really isn't that present, but they keep saying we're losing. Again, big issue. While the battle scene's nice, it's small potatoes in the grand scheme of things, and the bigger scope I feel like would have been better expanded. Instead of a ground battle, you maybe saw a glassing of a city, insurrectionist city, like an actual city being glassed, or like the planet being glassed and them evacing.
They might
like
be
that would have. That would in the first episode, here's our baddies, they literally kill a world. That's I think what you need to set up.
I completely agree with you. The timeline is really messed up because they also think it's like propaganda, which by that time in the game there is no propaganda. The Covenant are glassing outer colony worlds left and right. They know the Covenant's there. They try to back deal, do stuff with the Covenant, with UNSC trying to get, but they just get glass. That's how the insurrectionist fails. Is they just get burned. They're the first wall against the Covenant, and they just die.
Well, let me say the insurrectionists. I think, the insurrectionists are really one-dimensional, and I think they're also really backwater. It's very strange to me because with what you see, they wouldn't be trying to get independence. They look totally dependent on outside forces. So my issue is generally in lore, the insurrectionists, they've got pelicans, they've got spaceships, they've got their own space elevators, they have their own economies on a lot of these worlds with at least a few 100 million people. Insurrectionists generally are known to use nuclear weapons and dirty bombs to bomb inner colonies. This was not normal, and this was like backwater for Halo. I mean, they had 20th century era weapons and barely functioning vehicles made out of just steel frames. I mean, these people aren't even a threat to the UNSC. They're just
it looked like the Warthog, or it looked like that dumb Warthog you'd make in Halo 3 on Forge with the machine gun.
When you're comparing the different, it's like the navies. It's like high-tech Navy of America, and you see a battleship, and then you see the low-tech Navy, and you see a crate with a machine gun on it floating in the water. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't know, the insurrectionists, and we'll get to the UNSC later, but I feel like both sides are very one-dimensional and have no depth at all. And that's very disappointing.
There's also like really tropey scenes they do with the girl giving that look to her father, and I'm like, I could literally save that image and like, if you receive this look, prepare to die in the next minute, or the next 30 seconds. You are death sentenced.
And I think the bar scene was really tropey too. That gets done in like every major show nowadays.
I actually liked the scene where the guy was like, "Oh yeah, I could fight a Spartan," and like the Scottish guys like doing the breakdance, like, you can't kill them. Like I did like that, where he was hitting him with a bit of honesty, and you could tell the guy like I liked that. It was tropey, but the more he got into it, the more I liked it. I was like, okay, you're getting me.
Also, that kid is then running to try to get in the bunker, and the elite stabs through him. I'm like, okay, that's a nice payoff. He literally had no guts. So, but in other sequences, it's like. By the way, I like the sound effects. I like all that. The elites go war, whatever. My thing is also like, you have this elite squad that's sent in, and there's some people like complaining about like the other Covenant aliens not showing up, and I'm actually okay with that in this specific instance. Because it's elites. Yeah, it's elites going after an artifact. My problem is, if they're elites going after the artifact, they should be led by a zealot. A zealot should be leading them. That red elite didn't look like a zealot to me. Zealots should have no face or being shown, or very little with mandibles. This one, it didn't seem like a zealot, though it seemed like a red elite.
It just seemed like a commander. I would agree with that. I would also agree that the elites. I will say though that the elites massacring everyone.
Yeah, like totally fine, great.
Yeah. Like I could see people like saying like the brutes do that, but the elites don't go back. They will. Their objective was to get the artifact and safeguard it. Their position was spotted. My guess is they were like, we can just slaughter this nearby town and cut off communication before reinforcements come.
Yep.
That's my guess. I don't know, but I was buying the fact that that girl accidentally just got everyone killed because she saw something. It's kind of like Reach, right? With the behind the scenes elites. Again, those were actually spec ops, and you could tell.
Yes.
But I got the same drift, which is they didn't want even this planet to know they were there. They know the UNSC is there, but they're like, we don't want to glass it yet. Yeah, we don't want to glass it and accidentally hit this artifact. We want to go in, get our important thing, get out, and then blow it to hell. That's my guess.
If at some point this series she goes back to that planet and the Covenant are glassing it and she watches it from orbit, I will be fine. I will take that away. But like right now, it seems weird that planet isn't immediately up for glassing, or there isn't a bigger invasion or something coming up with it. Also, weird that a Pelican. I know technically there are these, but I think they're mostly post-war, not pre-war. That there's a Pelican that's just flying in space. I don't think it's slip space.
No, they can get to orbit, right, Delta?
They get to orbit, but they can't. Go to different systems.
Can't jump. Well, that's the thing, though. But it's 2552, so technically they can. But Why are we having first contact with a Covenant? They're like close. It just seems like the beginning of the war is happening in 2552, which is very bizarre.
Yeah,
but they say we're losing. But then again, I have no That's the problem. You need to First off, they talk way too much on the UNSC. So Delta, how about you go into that?
Yeah. So I thought the UNSC was one-dimensional too. They make them out to be very fascistic, and there certainly are elements in lore like that. But generally, the UNSC, I mean, in a lot of ways, I mean, UNSC in lore is like a modern day government. You've got different elements, compare to the United States. You've got the Pentagon, you've got intelligence agencies, you've got the FBI, you've got the CIA. Like you've got all these different moving parts and bureaucracies. You've got the United Earth government in the UNSC. UNSC is just it's just a military branch. It's all it is.
Yeah.
Office of Naval Intelligence is its own separate thing too.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre that when you read the Halo books, for example, a lot of the sketchy crap that Oni does, most UNSC officers are completely unaware of it. Yeah. And Oni tries to hide it from the UNSC because the general military people would be very upset if they knew what was going on. In fact, there's a huge resentment once it comes out what happened to make the Spartan 2 program. Everybody hates Oni and Dr. Halsey.
Yep.
All of main soldiers hate them. They detest them. So it's not like to make the UNSC out to be like a complete fascist organization. It just does not follow Halo lore. There is some elements of that with insurrection, but again, in general, Halo lore, insurrectionists have been known to nuke inner colonies. So it's not like it's one dimensional.
I will also say that this felt, there was no depth to the UNSC. There was no branches. It very much felt like this was Oni more than UNSC. This felt like this is, especially when Keyes okayed the death of, an insurrectionist. I was like, I mean, Keyes really isn't the most in-depth character, but I don't think he would okay the death. That's Oni. That's behind the scenes level stuff. That's CIA stuff. You don't do that on the front lines. Also, I will say, Miranda Keyes, maybe let the girl wipe the blood off her face before you ask her, hey, can I go?
I thought that was very poorly written.
God.
I wrote that note. Yeah, I was like, this is so poorly written. I can't ever, that just doesn't happen.
She's a scientist, but she doesn't realize that kind of obvious. There's
is she a scientist
logical fallacies.
I don't know what she is.
What is she?
We'll find out. We
don't even know what Keyes is.
I thought she was the marketing campaign. I'm like,
can I say the best part of this, which I thought I was going to hate, but I actually very much like, and you guys are probably going to know the exact scene. The Prophet of Mercy human.
Yeah. Wait. Is that Mercy?
Yeah, it was Mercy.
Is that Mercy?
Mercy.
That was Mercy. Yeah, she called him Mercy.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch the name. I thought it was just a random prophet, but I liked it because I thought the effects on Mercy were fantastic.
Yeah.
The elites are good. Mercy, the prophets are amazing, which is not something I thought I would be saying in a Halo show.
Yeah, no, Paramount's not known for its production values. Please, let's get that right clear. Right now, they are pushing that level as hard as they can.
They have Quiet Place.
I'm gonna throw this in here. Captain Keyes looks like he should have been Sergeant Johnson.
Yeah.
He looks exactly like he should have been Sergeant Johnson.
If you have a character that looks so similar to another character, it's like the recent Resident Evil movie where they have a character looks like, was it Leon looks like Chris, I believe? Or something like that, where you had two characters that are very similar. I forget the name of them.
We don't know Sergeant Johnson.
Carlos, sorry.
We might see Sergeant Johnson, and he might be like, yeah, that's Sergeant Johnson. We'll have to wait and see in that regard. But so far...
But he seems like Keyes looks like a perfect Sergeant Johnson, and that's off-putting. I'm like, oh, it's Sergeant... Oh, it's not.
Yeah, because that's what I thought it was Sergeant Johnson coming in. I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. Yeah, and then I'm like, oh, this is Keyes. Again, I think the actor did fine with what he was given.
No, he was good.
It was just one of those moments where I'm just like, this is a little weird.
It's uncanny,
Halsey, I thought was great. Yeah, I like Halsey.
I really like Halsey. Yeah, that's one run. I really, really like this Halsey. I do.
This Halsey, she is very much the behind-the-scenes backstabbing, but cares about the Spartans in a way. And I was like, yes, got it, good, 100%.
Yep. Now,
I also like the Spartans ready to murder the Marines, which I'm gonna say this right now. We're getting to the end, but there's a situation occurs. Chief, very weakest part. But
the weakest part of my opinion.
She's like, yeah, protect John. And they're like, so anyone that hurts him, like they basically say like, if someone shoots him, we have authorization. And I was like, yeah, Spartans would 100% do that because they are legit
loyalty,
loyalty, a family. I'm sorry, they respect Marines. I'm sure they do, but
let's be honest. You played Halo. You killed Marines. And then they shot you, and then you're like, "Oh, that's cute." And
I launched them off grav lifts and stuff.
We know, like from Halo 4. I mean, we know what happens when a superior officer orders you to arrest the Master Chief. And we stand there and stare at you with a dumb look and not move.
No one's gonna. The dude is 7 foot tall. Who the hell is gonna put cuffs on him?
And those were Spartans refusing to follow those orders.
But here's the key problem. While I like the I like the insurrectionist backstory, was it Quan Hua? What's her name?
Yeah, she's good.
Something like that. Yeah,
I liked her. She was good.
The problem is, it's a issue where she told the story rather than seeing the story.
Yeah.
So also, as someone who hates Master Chief for killing, spoiler, her mom, you would assume as soon as she sees him, there's no way she is following him.
Also, I don't think Chief would admit to what happened. That seemed like he said way too much classified information.
This is also where the plot line gets the timing. I double checked this because I was like, I don't remember Chief and Blue Team and lore really doing a whole lot with insurrectionists, and I looked it up. He had one mission before the Covenant came, where he captured the leader of a cell, not even killed, captured the leader of a cell and brought him back when he was a teenager, and then the Covenant showed up.
Yeah. Yes and no.
And I'm like, that's not really in character.
The Spartans were trained to put down insurrectionists, so I understand that.
Yeah, but they never really got the point. They never really got to be able to do that because the Covenant showed up so quickly.
Even in Halo 4, Forward Unto Dawn, they were actually fighting with insurrectionists against the Covenant in that little movie. Also,
because the alien's going to murder everyone. Everyone unites at that point. It's like...
Spartans seem generally neutral insurrectionists in lore. Unless they're ordered specifically to do something about it, they kind of just move through and ignore them.
I will say, though, the fact that there is a human working with the Covenant and Mercy's overseeing her, I actually like.
Yep. I really like that as well, because it's like, if the prophets know that Forerunner tech needs to be used by humans, then they just literally get a human, train her to be their puppet, and have her pull all the strings for them for their great journey. And I was like, that is something I wish was actually in the actual game, because I could totally see it being this is the one that will cleanse all the sins of humanity. Pulling the strings and whatnot.
It also works, and I don't know if they're doing this, I haven't seen episode 2, but it also works if Regret and Truth also have their own human puppets and/or are vying for control of that human, because they know that human is the one that gives access, and they're all like, well, we're trading this human. We don't want any more because of filthy humans. We can't have that. But I need to be the one who controls this puppet.
It's all political backstabbing. That's the Prophet's game in a nutshell. And we should totally see that. If we don't see that or any more of this, I actually want to see far more of her, because I from the snippet I saw, I'm like, that is extremely interesting, and I wish that was in the games. This is the one good addition to lore I've seen in this entire show.
Yes. But I will say, there was a book I actually recently read called Halo, I think it's called Silent Strike. It was about 25, 26. It was literally a year into the Covenant War, and humanity's still like, we have no idea what's going on with the Covenant. And they deal with a lot of insurrectionists working with the Covenant, being hey guys, we want to become free. You guys don't mind that. And the Covenant are actually thinking about, you know what? We should work with these guys. We're going to glass them as soon as we win, but we should work with these guys so that way we can figure out the homeworld, burn it, and just end this real quick. So there is lore that Spartans fought insurrectionists who are working with the Covenant, and then also the Covenant that being nah, about this insurrectionist thing, that's kind of it's not working, we'll just glass planets.
Don't forget about the Cole Protocol, which had the asteroid belt. that the Covenant, well, technically the Kikyar, but like the Kikyar were working with humanity, basically double dealing with them, and they were allowed by the Covenant because it was like a little, to see what happens, kind of. And obviously, the moment it actually became
if you hear any. Yeah, and what I'm saying is, if you hear any reviewer complaining about the Covenant never working with humans, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So just pointing that out.
Yeah. I would say,
also, we are missing the biggest part about this whole show. So, one of you want to go into... I'm holding up Master Chief's helmet right here. One of you want to go into that little aspect?
He takes off his helmet. Okay. It really isn't a big deal. Honest to God, everyone making a big deal about Master Chief taking off his helmet because of reasons. He's just gaining a girl's trust. That is something Master Chief probably would do. Like, I even if he didn't, he's taking off his helmet. It doesn't matter. This is a new timeline. That's not the Master Chief's face. No one cares that this actor is, or no one cares that this guy took off his helmet. Because that's Silver Team, and this is like a new universe. Everyone cares about original Master Chief. And even then, I don't think anyone really minds too much that the dude is a bald, pale,
I wish he was pale. I wish he was ugly and pale. Sickly, even. That way, again, it kind of showed, big, strong man. This almost...
It basically
a little bit.
He's basically what you would imagine. He's like a dude you'd see at the gym that, goes there 5 times a week as a super soldier.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I want him to be as pale as me. All right, that's what I'm hoping for.
I think one of my bigger issues with this is that I don't feel like I'm watching the Master Chief. I feel like I'm watching some other Spartans. It just doesn't feel like I'm watching the Master Chief, personally.
Yeah, I did mention the Delta. It's amazing how many times Blue Team gets shafted in the books, in the games, in this, and it's like, can we please just have one time where Blue Team gets some character development, where they get to work with Master Chief, and it's not Halo 5? Please.
Yeah,
please.
They're really good characters in lore. Really, really good. I love, I find the book lore way more interesting than the games.
Yeah.
The games are just interactive, and it's just another thing. But I do have some criticisms, I think, about the Spartans. That's all right?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like they're being misinterpreted in the manner that they're robotic.
Yeah.
My issue is that they're acting like automatons in the show, but that's not what they mean by them being like a machine, quote unquote, from Halo 4 or whatever. They're like that. They're considered like that because they don't share emotions with other people, but they do share emotions with each other. Yep. And I feel like the other issue I had was they were, where was my note here? They talk too militaristic and act too casual. And what I mean by that is, the one girl, Spartan, refers to him as Master Chief instead of Chief or John, as well as, but yet at the same time, all this is going on. She's not covering him at all and just staring at this thing he's touching. Whereas in any other Halo lore, Special Forces, anything, if they'd done research on any sort of military tactics, he'd be dealing with the asset and she'd be covering him and paying attention to that elite that's hiding in the background. Yeah. But at the same, she's acting so casual, but at the same time, she's being so official with how she talks to him. It's weird.
It's also that really weird that anyone else find it weird the elite didn't cloak immediately?
Yeah, that's
but the thing I actually here's the thing: the idea of Master Chief taking off his helmet to gain trust in someone, I'm fine with. I'm totally fine because Master Chief is someone who will have a plan. Even if the plan falls apart, we'll still try to complete said plan and still try to win people over. That's especially in a lot of the later games. 5 sucks, but whatever. My issue is in episode 1, Master Chief goes AWOL. He literally takes the girl and they go off, and I have no idea where they're going, but they're going AWOL. And I find that dumb because I'm just of this mindset already the main character has more development than in the games already. To be fair, he's already to the point where he was at the end of Halo 4, where he's like, I don't know about this. I think I want to do my own thing instead of just
they should have had a half the season where he's following orders, and then if they wanted to, and the other half being him questioning, and then he goes AWOL. Otherwise, it should not have gone where it is. But otherwise, I think that's our general overview of spoilers.
One quick thing. I actually thought it would be better if he actually outthought the UNSC and be like, actually, this girl's necessary for the Forerunner tech. So that way she stays alive, they get the tech, and he shows his smarts. Because Master Chief, even though he's you know,
he is intelligent.
Super,
yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, he's a good tactician. So I'm like, he should be able to outthink UNSC and what they're doing and observing, and hopefully play the system enough as still have faults, and then Halsey comes in and kind of covers what's left. But we'll see. I'm hopeful, but already going AWOL is something I did not expect and I don't want. But
yeah,
you're saying
I'm not looking forward to the next. I'm like questioning the next episode, but it'll be interesting. First half of this, again, first half was good. I really enjoyed it. The rest of it, pretty much hit or miss.
Yeah, we forgot to mention it. Again, the show looks great. The suits look good.
Hit or miss. Hit or miss.
Okay, so
More
Delta, do you have any final thoughts?
I just, I kind of disagree with the character development a little bit. It's the development, because the UNSC itself is a character in lore. Like Oni is itself a character. The insurrectionists themselves, like its factions, they actually have character, and I don't feel like that's the case in the show. There's just so much depth that they're not touching. It's very, very, very one-dimensional, and that disappoints me.
Okay,
we'll have to wait and see.
Again, we'll meet back for the mid-season, and then we'll meet at the end for the final season wrap-up. I mean, look, this is already better than Halo 5.
3 episodes. They should have released 3 episodes of this. I am very disappointed. They're have to doing 1 episode a week. Yeah,
that's it. They should have done The Boys or The Boys or Arcane, where they do like 3 episodes apiece. Yeah, but Paramount wants that money. Too bad. I signed up for your like $1 a month thing, so you're not getting a full thing out of me. And if this sucks, there's nothing else in Paramount I want. Hell, I don't even want you. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed our thoughts. Hopefully we see you soon for future thoughts on Halo. But it's been Greyshot17,
Greyshot151, and
Delta.
Don't worry.
There he is.
And we'll see all of you next time.
Later.
Hello everyone. Before y'all go, you can check out more content above. You can subscribe, and you can hear as I talk about some amazing people who support me on Patreon, which include Folkvard, Aphyria, Joey G240, Milam, Ace, ShinobiWarrior, Pyroshark, XSomeToolx, Epic Pleb. Thank you all for your incredible support. You literally help this channel keep on growing, so thank you. If you want to support the channel, again, check out some of the stuff I mentioned. Otherwise, I'll see all of you next time.